Hey, what's going on, everybody? Timmy, aka Echo Side Fiend here. So last weekend I uploaded my first album review, reviewing Carnival of Carnage. I followed that up the next day, or maybe 2 days later, with Ringmaster. Obviously, I'm planning on doing the entire original six Joker's cards to start with. Those reviews seem to get pretty good response, pretty positive feedback. So I continue on doing it just kind of the way I did. Showing it off and just talking, my obviously my opinions on it. And then I get, sharing, any story that might go along with it. So, having done Carnival of Carnage and Ringmaster, obviously that brings us to the third one, which is the infamous Riddle Box, which I think probably is a lot of Juggalos' favorites. It's my favorite. It's my favorite ICP album. It's my third favorite album of all time, whether you're talking about any genre, any band. It's my number three favorite album. I think I've covered it in another video, but my top five favorite albums of all time are Metallica's and Justice for All, even though I think after that, I think they went completely downhill. But their first four albums are great, and Justice for All is my favorite, not only my favorite metal album of all time, but it's also my favorite album, period, of all time. Number two is a band called the Toadies from Texas. I think they're from Tyler, Texas. They're a fantastic little garage rock band. They're just incredible. I've seen them a couple times. And their album Rubberneck is my second favorite album of all time. Every song on that is fucking amazing. Number three is Riddle Box. Number four is by a band called the Funk Junkies from Phoenix, Arizona. Their album Injected is my number four favorite album. And my number five, even though I'm not the biggest Pink Floyd fan, Dark Side of the Moon is my fifth favorite album of all time. So this ranks at number three. It's a fantastic album. This is the album that literally made me say, fuck yeah, I'm a Juggalo. I had been listening to him for a few months before this came out. But when I got this, the day I picked it up, the day that it was released, and by the end of the day, I think I listened to it 5, 6, maybe 7 times in its entirety. It's just incredible. I listened to it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks without listening to anything else. Within a week or two, I had the album memorized backwards to forward. It's just an incredible album, and it's not only like a fantastic ICP album, it's just a fantastic album in general. Also I will say with the Ringmaster, I talked about how I love the Ringmaster logo. I will say I love the Riddle Box logo. I think it's like probably my second favorite logo of anything related to psychopathic or juggalos or anything. It's an awesome album. I love awesome logo. I love the Christmas version they have where they kind of reverse some of the colors. I actually have a shirt of that. You'll see that when I do a video on the stuff that the custom stuff my buddy has done for me. They obviously have the Merry Fucking Christmas bitch that is long out of print. He made me one of those. So he actually made my friend Tom from England. He made him one too. So, and it looks, if you didn't know, you wouldn't even know that it wasn't an actual official ICP shirt. So yeah, I love that. Just everything, the Jack in the Box, the question mark, everything on it's perfect. Goes with the album perfectly. And then just the colors, the purple and green, make for a great shirt on a black shirt. So just a great logo. So, as far as the tracks, there isn't one track on here that I don't like. Pretty much, this is one I listen to beginning to end. There is nothing on here I skip. Like there's, or Ringmaster, I was like, sometimes maybe I'll skip Love Song. Not on this one. I listen to every single song on here. I rarely even put it in and say, hey, I want to listen to the Joker's Wild. Like that song was in my head. If I put it in and skip to that song, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm missing all the other stuff, So even if there is a song way down there that I'm like, man, that was in my head, I want to listen to it tonight, I put the album in and listen to it all the way through. There's nothing I skip on here. So obviously, I guess we'll go over the tracks real quick though. It's Riddle Box, The Show Must Go On, Chicken Huntin' Slaughterhouse Mix, which is, I think, obviously a classic for every Juggalo. I obviously prefer, and I'm sure most people do, prefer it over the Ringmaster version. Nothing against the Ringmaster version, but Slaughterhouse Mix, I think, is like the true sound of Chicken Huntin'. So moving on, we got Toy Box, Cemetery Girl, Three Rings, Headless Boogie, The Joker's Wild, Dead Body Man, Lil Something Something, Ol' Evil Eye, 12, The Killing Fields, and I'm Coming Home. obviously, like I said, I mean, I listen to this album beginning to end. If I were forced to pick out a few, I might go maybe like I'll say if I had to pick out like 5 songs that were my absolute favorite, I might go with Toy Box, Cemetery Girl, Three Rings, Old Evil Eye, and The Killing Fields. I guess those are the ones I'd have to pick out as being my favorite, but I mean the whole album is my favorite. I mean, I love Old Evil Eye. I love the Edgar Allan Poe. The Telltale Heart mixed in with it. I'm not going to imply I'm like the biggest Edgar Allan Poe fan, but when I was in like 7th grade, maybe 8th grade, in our English book textbook, we had a couple, throughout it, there was several, actual books in it. I remember like Where the Red Fern Grows was in there, and like the whole book, and we had to like read them, but they were in our actual textbook. And the Telltale Heart, no, it wasn't the Telltale Heart. It was, I don't even remember what one it was now. It's like where some guy like he bricks somebody else up in a wall or something like that, and they were like Freemasons or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember really, but that I read that story and because we had to read it for class, and that ended up kind of making me go, I'm gonna look into a little more into this guy. And like at a book fair or something a little while later, maybe a year or two later, I bought like a collection of like 20 of his stories, and the Telltale Heart was in there. And I really liked that, and I liked all the other ones too. But that one kind of stood out, and then to hear that, bits and pieces of that in the song "Old Evil Eye" is really cool. And then I like to in the credits, I'll see if I can find it, but it says like "Old Evil Eye" was written by ICP and Edgar Allan Poe. It's in the credits. I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, again, not one bad track on here. I think this is every song on here, from beginning to end, is absolutely perfect. Fits with the album. They're hilarious, or they're scary, or whatever whatever they were going for, they nail it. So go ahead and take a look at the inside. Well, before I pull it out. So this I don't know if it's showing up real good, but I got it autographed at HalloWicked 2015. Me and my buddy did the meet and greet, VIP, whatever you want to call it. We had done it the year before too. No, not the year before, like the 2010. And that one didn't work out very well. We met with Shaggy and Blaze and Twisted, which is awesome. But we were, wanting to get, to meet Jay too, and he took off before it was done. And they weren't even standing by each other, so you wouldn't even make a picture with both of them. And it wasn't really set up too well. It was the first year they did it though, so we weren't complaining too much. So. And this is the CD, obviously, and I think what I was saying with COC and Ringmaster, I think this is the reprints. I've seen pictures of them, I've never had them, but the reprints of the CDs are like this, just with each, obviously, Carnival of Carnage or Ringmaster, but they look just like that, where it's kind of cut up. I think I've seen pictures of them. I'm guessing that's what they are, is the reprints. So under here, I do have black and white picture. I'm trying to get that without the glare. Black and white picture of ICP. It's pretty cool. Obviously old school. Because taken at the time the album was out, so 95. So, and then that autograph picture. I love that picture too. That's a really cool promo photo. So got the inside. Obviously they got the thank yous, and then they did put the I believe this is the first one, unless it was in like one of the EPs or something, which it wouldn't make any sense. So. Where they put the countdown faces on there. So I got the thank yous, and and then the credits over here, and then I'll see if I can. That should be just right in here. So Old Evil Eye, written and produced by Mike Clark and ICP. Maybe it doesn't. Oh yeah, right there. So lyrics written by ICP and Edgar Allan Poe. That's awesome. So yeah, it says written and produced by Mike E. Clark and ICP, programmed and engineered by Mike E. Clark, and then the next one, lyrics written by ICP and Edgar Allan Poe. So it's really cool. And then mine does have the catalog in it still, and the order form over there. And then this part here was to order some type of a jive sampler. I obviously didn't do that. I wasn't really interested in it. So, and then the backside, you got your story of ICP there, and that's pretty much it. Mine, you can obviously see, it's pretty worn out. It's pretty faded, like pretty sun faded from carrying it in my car, and creased and all kinds of stuff, but I love it just the same. So as far as this album, I don't think it pretty much goes without saying I'm obviously giving this a 5 out of 5. And I think it's one thing I did want to point out too is I know a lot of people that don't even like ICP. They even go as far as to like they despise them but they'll almost, I shouldn't say almost always, but a lot of them will be like, you bring up Riddle Box, like, yeah, that album's pretty good though. One story that sticks out in my mind is my buddy, several of my buddies, I should say, were all in a band. They were in a heavy metal band, and they put the band together, and then they hired a guy as the singer, so he joined last. And he was obviously, they were a death metal band, so he did death metal style vocals, but he also was in a hip hop group. Like he was from the Muskegon area, and out there he had a hip hop group that he was in, and he was, and as far as I know, still is a big fan of ICP. And we were at like an after party one time after their band had played, and he was wearing a zip hoodie, and he had like patches like down the zipper of like, on each side of the zipper of just different death metal bands. He had like an anarchy symbol and stuff, and he had a Psychopathic Hatchet Man on there, and we were hanging out, and my friend Gizzy, the girl, that's her nickname. Me and her go way, 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 way back, and she's standing there. She's always giving me shit for listening to ICP, and she saw that, and she's like, "Oh God, you're into ICP too?" And he's like, "Hell yeah, man, I love them." And she's like, "Oh, I can't stand them. They suck. Except for Riddle Box. Riddle Box is good." And I've had that happen several times. Even I was on a snowboarding trip one time, and I was driving, and I said to the guys in the car, I'm like, we got like a 3-hour drive, so I'm gonna be throwing on at least one ICP album. And one of my buddies in the backseat is like, "Put on Riddle Box, dude. I love Riddle Box." Just shit like that. A lot of people I know that don't like ICP will like Riddle Box. And then obviously a lot of juggalos that love ICP. I believe probably a lot of them say this is their favorite. So it's definitely my favorite. Third favorite album of all times. First favorite ICP album. So I think it's awesome. I listen to it constantly. I'd go as far as say I listen to this usually a couple times a month, at least once, and probably have for years. Maybe not every month, but often. So it gets a lot of listen. I obviously have it on my phone, but so I don't pull this out as much anymore. But it's this album. So real quick, let's take a look at the 20th anniversary. I do like the gold coloring, but if I had to pick, I would definitely say I like the green and purple better. But that is cool though. 20th anniversary, and I love the packaging. It's a little dusty on the top there. I love the packaging for this. It's got the all the way around the gold print, and then you take it apart, and it's got the question marks all the way around. It's fucking awesome. Like I said, I wish the Great Malenko was the same as this, the Great Malenko 20th anniversary. Don't get me wrong, that package is cool. It's a really cool setup. I like it a lot, but I just really thought it would go good having them all in the same. But it's got a pretty cool booklet. It is missing, I know this isn't any new information, but it is missing the question mark there. I don't know if they fixed that in later prints or what, but so there's just the same photo on the back, but then the inside, not going to go through the whole thing, but let's see if we can kind of skip through it. Some old pictures, and then just stories, like a story about the recording of the album and everything, and then towards the end it's got like a track by track review by ICP themselves. So, and then the Oddities disc, I haven't really listened to this too much. I listened to it a couple times, but I don't listen to it a lot. And then the inside, or the actual disc, same style, but just with the gold. It's not really showing up too well, but yeah, it's gold, so it looks just like the original, but obviously the 20th anniversary colors. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the back looks the same, just obviously on black with a foil print. So I think this is still available, so if you're going to pick up the Riddle Box, may as well get this. It is remastered, comes with a bonus disc, nice cool packaging. I don't even know if this is really in print anymore. I know they re-released it, but I think it looked all the same. And this one doesn't have that head PE sampler on it. I think that might have just been on the tape. I don't know, but I got, like I said, I got mine the day it came out, and they did that, I think, down the line. So after they had like a falling out with ICP or something. So I have never heard that. I love Head PE, and I have all their stuff. So I don't know if it had anything on it I wouldn't have heard. But so anyway, I think that pretty much wraps it up before we get going too long here. It's coming up on 15 minutes. So yeah, like I said, great album. I don't think I really have to convince any juggalo that it's a great album. But if you haven't heard it for some reason, why the hell you wouldn't have heard it, I don't know. But if you haven't, go on Spotify or YouTube or something and listen to it, or get yourself a copy of it, because this is at least mine, my favorite, I think the best ICP album. I think this is at their darkest, at their most creative. I think this is really when they came into their own sound, when they really solidified that sound that they want. I think Mike Clark really nailed the production, their sound, their music sound, everything. I think that all came together on this album, and I think what all the ICP that we all know and love was born right here. Even though I do love their first two albums, but I think this is where they really nailed it, and then kept going with that sound. So I would definitely check it out if you haven't. Again, like if you haven't, I don't know why you wouldn't have. But if you haven't, make sure you do. Classic album right here. 5 out of 5. Run out and get it. So that's pretty much it. That's my review of Riddle Box. Best album by ICP in my opinion. Third favorite album of all time. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you everyone for commenting. I'm really trying to keep up with the comments. Oftentimes I work early in the morning, and then when I get home, I kind of not crash out, but kind of relax and forget about it, and then gotta go to bed. So, but thank you for everybody watching and commenting. Seeing a lot of the same people commenting is pretty cool to kind of get to know everybody. Again, appreciate it. Always appreciate the support. Again, I'm Timmy, aka Echoside Fiend, and I will catch you in the next one.